Hello, today I'm going to be taking a look at this product which I was sent for free from Arrtx, and it's this set of 90 acrylic markers. I actually have their set of 60 markers and I've really enjoyed these. So firstly I'm keen to take a look at the 90 set and see what additional colours there are. So the markers sit lid down in the base of the box, and there's a plastic grid. One thing I noticed straight away is that compared with the older set, the space for the pen is smaller with the 90 set, whereas you can see the pens are kind of more splayed out with the 60 set. I think I prefer the fact that they are smaller and stand more upright with the 90 set. The other difference is that with the older set I had to stick the stickers on individually, but this set comes with the end numbers already on. Though there is a sticker set for adding to the sides if you want. I never did that with this other set though. So the ink in these markers is water-based, but it is acrylic ink, and so once it's dry it becomes waterproof, and the ink is quite opaque and vibrant. I've got out a pad of smooth Bristol paper. With a smooth paper you'll do less damage to the tips of the pens. So let's just have a play around. So these have got a brush tip and it's kind of fibrous, like a felt tip. Yeah, really lovely ink. And the nibs have got a little bit of flexibility in them. Let me show you with a darker colour. So when you press harder, you get thicker lines. I'm just looking at some of the colour numbers. So this is number 69 from the old set. And 69 from the new set. I think it's the same colour because I've not used them for a while, the old set. You can see the ink's just kind of settled out a little bit. I'm not going to swatch out this whole set now. I'll link to the video where I swatch out the 60 set. So I started taking the colours out from this set, which weren't in this set, but I realised that there are some in the 60 set which aren't in the 90 set. So for example here you've got 25 and 27, but in the 60 set there's a 26. So while there is some crossover, you've got some unique ones in this set and some in this. I'm going to pull out a few of the landscapey colours which I'm quite interested in, or more muted ones. So look at this dark green. It's kind of a nice chromium oxide green. The 64 is actually in the other set, but that is a really nice colour. It's a nice taupey colour. (56A). There are quite a lot of these mid-greens. But that's the darkest green that we've got. I'm just seeing how darker brown we've got. Now this is the darkest browns we've got, and then the one black is the only real dark in the set. I'm just looking for the darkest blue now. Yeah, so not many really dark colours, but in this set there are definitely some quite nice muted colours. I mean, these bluey greys are all absolutely lovely. And we've got a lot of these paler peachy colours. So that's really the total of the browns. And there's quite a lot of nice purpley colours in this set. Got some lovely light blues, which is sometimes a problem for sets. That's very nice. And that's about the brightest pink, but you've got lots of really pretty pinks and mid pinks. And then just to show you how these layer up, so the light colours go over the darker colours quite well. Where the ink gets a little bit thinner, and then obviously it loses some of its opacity. But that's without any shaking or having to pump the ink through the nib or anything. That's literally straight out of the box. So I'd say these are a very pretty range of colours, though missing quite a few that I would like for landscapes. I also think the quality of the ink's really nice. It just feels very rich and creamy with good flow. One thing I also wanted to show you, with the set of 60, I started a Lightfast test, and that's been running for nearly 6 months now. So I'll show you that, and that will give you a good indication of how lightfast the inks are. So these two strips have been up in a south-facing window since the 8th of February, so a couple of days short of 6 months. So these are the other halves, which have been kept away from light for the last 6 months. And we'll see how they've fared. It's actually really impressive. So we've got a red that's faded a little bit there. This is the window side. Yellow's faded a little bit. If anything, these 3 yellows have got a little bit darker, or maybe a little bit more orangey. The pinks all look almost identical. This bright pink has maybe lost a little bit of vibrancy, and this light pink has maybe faded ever so slightly. The purples, there's the tiniest bit of change. They've lost a little bit of their pinkness. I can't see any difference with all of these blues. These turquoisey colours have all changed a little bit. They've gone more blue. It's as though the green element in them has faded slightly. But looking at these greens, I can't really see any difference at all. Maybe this one here has lost a little bit of its yellow. It looks a tiny bit more blue than that side. These greys and earth colours all look the same. Maybe this one's faded ever so slightly. And then these last 5 here have all changed a bit. They've just all dulled down a little bit. But I think overall that's really good, and none of them have come anywhere near close to completely disappearing, which is what's happened with some brightly coloured mediums that I've tested in the past. I'll put these back in the window now anyway, and maybe keep them up for a whole year. I've just been getting into a good audiobook, so I thought I might as well swatch out all the markers after all while I was listening to it. So this is the new set of 90 on smooth Bristol paper. And then I also went through my set of 60 and just swatched out the additional colours from that. I've added on the identification numbers just in case that's useful for anyone with different sets. And then I thought it would be interesting as well to see them swatched on black paper. These were done with just one pass of the marker, and I do have to say just how juicy and rich every single one of the markers were. This is a picture I did previously with the Arrtx acrylic markers. This was done in an art creation sketchbook, and to make the paper a little bit less absorbent, I put white gesso on the background. As I mentioned before, the smoother and also the least absorbent the paper is, the better I think the markers work on it, and the more gentle it is on the fibre nibs. I'm going to do another picture now, using this photo which I took as a reference. I'm using the smooth Bristol paper again and start off with a pencil outline. So that was quite a fun quick sketch to do. I mainly used the broad side of the markers, so it's got quite a thick graphic quality to it. A few things to note. When you're covering large areas quickly, like when I did with the sky, you can see the pen marks quite clearly, and the ink's a bit thinner because I was moving quite quick with it. So if you want a better coverage in one pass, you need to use the marker more slowly. So like with these lighter coloured leaves at the bottom, that was just one mark, but because it was kept in the same place, the ink comes out in a thicker way. I could definitely have done with a wider range of browns, especially some darker browns and greys. I do have some of those in the set of 60, but I only use markers from the 90 set for this picture. I also paint stones sometimes. When my kids or my friends' kids are over, it's a fun activity. I haven't got any larger stones at the moment, but I've just got this one out of my path. So it's only a tiny thing, but it'll at least be a test for whether these work on stones. Sorry, just trying to show an assortment of the colours. So the markers stay nice and vibrant on rocks. I think that'd be enormous fun to use those for this. Overall then, I do really like these pens, and my only criticism is that they don't have a wider range of the colours, which I like to use. Over time, I think the brush nib will probably fray more than, say, like a firm Posca nib will, but I do really like the greater variation and flexibility of the brush markers. I did used to have the Caron Deco Brush acrylic marker pens, but I ended up getting rid of those because I didn't find them very juicy, whereas these do seem to be a lot more juicy than the Deco Brush ones. Though these won't stay juicy when you're covering a really large area, you need to give the tip a little bit of time to replenish again. Though you can see when I did the sky, just how it lays down at speed over a larger area. I think the coverage is pretty good. These are some gifts that I sent to a friend, which I decorated with the Arrtx markers as well on brown paper. So I hope if you're considering the Arrtx acrylic markers, this video has been useful. Thanks to Arrtx for sending them to me, and I think these are definitely ones that I will be hanging on to. Thanks for watching. Bye!